Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be making this charcuterie board, cutting board, whatever kind of board you want to use it for. Longer video today as it is quite a long process, about 25 minutes or so. So let's go ahead and get started. I've already pre-mixed 20 ounces of resin. I used Let's Resin 1:1 ratio by volume. It's just about 35 degrees, so it is definitely ready to decant and pour into our mold here. It's been setting for about a good 15 minutes after mixing, and the bubbles are mostly gone. Really don't see anything in there to worry about right at the moment. So let's go ahead and very carefully pour this throughout the mold. It's kind of a big mold, so it doesn't quite fit in my entire screen, but I'll do my best to keep my hands out of the way and show you what I'm doing. So I'm just going to pour this about roughly 3/4 full. And I'm going to make sure that I get it spread out pretty evenly throughout the entire piece. Got the little nubby at the top where the hole is, and I gently, carefully pour it around that hole. Don't want to fill that in, or we'll have to drill a little hole for that hole to be there. Okay, we've got just a little bit left. We'll use that for another project. So I'll just clean this off and get this out of our way. That way I won't spill it, and I will use some of that for mixing the white pigment paste later. I'm going to be using 3 different colors by Let's Resin today. I've got a blue, a cerulean, and a sapphire blue, as my friend wants the blues. And I'll be making the petals with Let's Resin Ocean White pigment paste. I also will be adding a little bit of diamond dust, not sure where it came from, and some yellow, lemon yellow by Let's Resin. You can use any diamond dust. I think I got this on Temu, as I said in a previous video. Can't remember, but any diamond dust will do. I'm just going to go ahead and hit this with a little bit of heat just to make sure I've got all of the bubbles out. I do see some finite ones in there, which you probably can't see on camera, but this is going to add a little bit more heat to the resin as well. We want to make sure we're getting the alcohol ink in before the resin gets too warm, and it won't be able to move, or doesn't move as efficiently. So we're just going to start with a little bit of yellow in about the center. And I am using yellow because if you strictly go with blues, everything will be too dark. So next I'm going to follow up with some sapphire blue. Just go right around the yellow here. That's making a nice little flower. It's kind of moving away from the yellow though. Interesting. Next we'll go with the cerulean. Just kind of like a teal color. Kind of seeing some spots in the blue there. I'm not sure why. I don't usually see this when I use Let's Resin. Let's go ahead with the dark blue now. We'll have to come back to that other blue area. We'll have to see what happens with that little white open dot on the bottom left there. I'll go back with the sapphire. Interesting reaction there. I've never seen the blues pull away from the center like that and make like single lines. That's kind of weird. We'll see how it turns out in the end, I guess. But let's fill that in again and see what we can do there. And we'll go out, we'll hit the margins here a little bit too. Not necessarily looking to fill the entire board. Now I'm going to go ahead and mix up some pigment paste. So I'm going to use some of the resin I have left here. This is going to be about an ounce. And I'm going to take a dab of this Ocean White pigment paste by Let's Resin, and I'm going to put it on the tip of a stir stick. Kind of looks like a giant toothpick. Let's see what kind of temperature we have. Yep, 36. So that's pretty good. This is getting kind of thick, or thicker. We don't want it to be too thick because then the petals won't bloom. And I'm just going to take, as I said, a drop of this and put it on the tip of the stir stick. Might be a little more than I want, but let's see what we get when we mix it in. It's actually more, probably about an ounce and a half in there. Not too worried, I just want to make sure I have enough. I don't want to run out, so ounce and a half for this would probably suffice. And I'm going to do some other fun stuff here too. I'm going to try, this is going to get spread out all through here. I'm going to add a little more blue. Not sure what's going on with the blues today, goodness. Maybe I should have used the sapphire. Chemistry, folks, chemistry. Okay, now I'm going to take and I'm going to mix another batch of resin for petals and a third one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use mica powder along with the Ocean White to try to get a little bit of a shimmering blue. So again, I'm just going to take a dab of the Ocean White and put it on this stick. This stuff is just not cooperating today. Just a little. If you have too much, again, it gets too thick and the petals won't bloom, or it'll sink to the bottom and leave globs. So I want to mix that in good. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use this diamond dust and put just a little bit of that in there. And what I'm hoping is that these petals will have like a shimmery bloom to them. So we'll have our normal white ones, but then we'll have a little bit of shimmer and glimmer back there. Then I'm going to use another mica powder from Let's Resin. This is the blue. I'm going to do this with a blue mica powder. And mica powders have that nice pearlescent color to them. So I'm hoping that this will also give kind of nice, shiny, sparkly petals. I haven't tried 3 of these different colors in one setting, so it'll be interesting to see how it works, if it works. So let's get this stirred up really good. Again, I don't want too much in there. I don't want it to be too heavy and sink to the bottom. And I am going to add just a little bit of this white diamond dust to it as well. Sorry, I'm doing it off camera because I don't want the diamond dust to get into the middle of the mold here. So let's give this a good stir. Want to make sure that we get everything mixed really, really well. Checking the consistency here. Should be about the consistency of honey, or just a little bit lighter than honey. I'm gonna test this on paper towel just to see. Oh yeah, that's pretty thick. We are good to go. All right, now I'm just gonna take and pour this. This is just the ocean white in resin. And I'm just gonna continue to go in a circular pattern. Kind of looks a little thin to me yet. It's not really spreading very well like I wanted it to. I'm not going to take this all the way to the margins, because if you do, it won't bloom out. So we'll just get a little close. I'm just going to get rid of some of these blobs in here so they don't sink to the bottom. This looks a little pale to me too. I hope it's enough color. We will see. Next I'm going to go ahead and go with the blue. The shimmering blue. Get this out of the way so I don't knock it over. Normally I would use a piping bag for this to get real fine lines, but I'm going to do a little different pattern with this. I think when I do this though, it interferes with the circly lines that I made from blooming a little bit, but we'll see. And I'm going to spread this one out a little bit further. Don't want to get blobs. And then finally our white with just the white diamond dust. If the resin gets too hot, too warm, it makes it challenging for the petals to bloom as well. Come a little closer to the margins on this one. I'm not going to go up into the handle. I'm going to leave the handle clear. Just get rid of some of the blobs. It's not too bad though. Now I'm going to go outside to in with my giant toothpick in the shape of a clock, so 12, 3, 6, and 9. And then about 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and 10 o'clock in. And I'm just dragging this through the top. I am not touching the bottom of the mold. Now I'm going from the inside out in the middle of those petals. I can see some movement in the white already. Now we're gonna give this a little swirl. And this will continue to move after I'm done swirling and playing in it. Okay, we need to let this set for about 24 hours. I'm gonna hit it with some heat real quick, just very carefully. Getting out any bubbles. Just gently moving it around a little bit. And when I'm done fiddling with it, we will let it set overnight. And tomorrow we'll come back and we'll add a back coat to it. So you're looking at the back of the mold right now. And I'm going to put a dark blue mica powder over the back of this. All right, we are done. I will see you tomorrow. All right, we're back. It's been 24 hours. I'm going to use a fast cure resin by Let's Resin. Again, this is a 1-to-1 ratio by volume. This typically sets in about 4 hours. And I'm going to use a dark blue mica powder by Let's Resin. Then I've got some glitter here, Glitz Brilliance, that I'm going to add to the blue mica powder resin mixture to give it that extra little bling. So I think I'm going to need more than 3 ounces. I think I'm going to need about 5 or 6 ounces on this one. This is a new board to me, so I'm going to have to figure this out. Hopefully I'll mix enough in the first go round. And if I have extra, then I will just use it for another project, like I did yesterday. So I'll go ahead and I will mix this up and I will fast forward through this. Okay, this should be ready. Let's go ahead and mix in our dark blue mica powder from Let's Resin. Give us a little shake over here off camera. Don't want it flying all over. And we'll just tap a little bit in there. This is such a pretty color. And I think that should be good. And here's our glitter. I'm going to add a little bit of that in there. Again, the mica powder has that nice pearlescent coloring to it, but I want to give it an even extra bit of bling. As the hours pass, we're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull stars from the sky, just 2 hearts running wild, never sleep, never stop. That looks pretty good. All right, let's take our mold from yesterday. Get this position for you. Looks like it bloomed pretty good for the most part. You can see some of the lines in that pearlescent color pushed out good to the margins, but you'll really be able to see it nicely once we get the darker blue on the back. Sorry about the camera work here. I want to get back out a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Get this centered for you again. Next, I'm just going to pour the resin over the mold, and that's why I only filled it about 3/4 full. I wanted to leave enough room to put this final layer on, and I'm going to go carefully up around the top here, around that little nubby thing where the hole is going to be. And I'll just continue to go through and fill this in, push the resin to the margins, and we'll be done. So I'll go ahead and fast forward so you don't have to painfully watch me do this. All right, we're basically done, so let's go ahead and hit this with my long neck lighter and get some of those bubbles out, if I can get this stupid thing to start. I could use a torch or alcohol, spritz it with alcohol, but it's kind of a thin mold, so I'm not really wanting to torch it. And there's not a lot of bubbles, so I'm just going to go over it very lightly with my long neck lighter here, and I'm going to set it away for another 24 hours and we'll be back. All right, it's time for the unveiling. It's been 24 hours, about 20 seconds for you guys, probably not even that. So let's go ahead and demold here. This is coming off pretty easily. And I said 24 hours, it's actually only been about 5 hours. I used the Quick Cure mold, or Quick Cure Resin by Let's Resin, Fast Cure. So let's see what we got here. I'm trying to hide it a little bit. I don't want the grand reveal just yet. And you kind of just saw it, but all right, well, this is the back. A few little smudges on it from me turning it over onto a dirty collection mat. Let's get that off. All right, let's see. Edge is relatively smooth, and there we go. So I did get quite a bit of the glimmer with the petals. If you look at the margins, especially the bottom, and then you go to the middle, you can see some of the bling and the sparkle. And I think it's the right color blue. Didn't get great blooming from the petals in the middle there, towards the middle, but it's not bad all in all. I will take it, and I hope she will too. All right, let's take it off the mat and see what it looks like. So it's got the transparent blue, watery look, different shades of blue. And the petals do have that different sparkly look with some plain. So I think she will love it. Here's the final. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me today. I hope you had fun, maybe learned something a little new. As always, please hit that subscribe button for me, and I certainly appreciate the likes. Until I see you guys again the next time, be safe, and we'll talk to you soon.